The hull breach in Section 7 had been catastrophic. Emergency bulkheads sealed, life support rerouted, and in the chaos of klaxons and failing systems, Lena had stumbled into an escape pod bay. Not to flee, there was nowhere to go in the void between stars, but to hide from the reality that 847 souls had perished in an instant, and she was the only breathing thing left aboard. That's what she'd thought anyway. The scratching came first, soft, persistent, coming from behind the maintenance panels. Lena had grabbed a plasma torch, hands shaking, expecting ship rats or some nightmare from the cargo hold. What emerged made her drop the torch entirely. They were small, no larger than house cats, with 6 legs and fur that shimmered between silver and blue depending on the light. Their faces were almost triangular, with 4 luminous eyes arranged in a square pattern. The lead creature chittered at her, head tilting in a gesture so achingly curious that Lena felt something crack inside her chest. "Hello," she whispered. The creatures, 3 of them, scattered at her voice, but they came back. They always came back. Days blurred together. Lena rationed food, redirected power to essential systems, and sent distress signals into the uncaring dark. The creatures watched her. She named them because humans named things. The bold one became Rivy. The others were Pip and Moth. They learned her routines. When she ate, they appeared. When she worked on repairs, they observed from safe distances. When she slept, or tried to, they curled together near the ventilation grates, their combined body heat creating small clouds of condensation. On day 63, Lena had a breakdown. It started small. A tool slipped from her grasp while she was repairing a water reclamation unit. The tool drifted in the low gravity, and she watched it tumble, and suddenly she was thinking about bodies tumbling through Section 7, and the dam inside her burst. She sobbed. Great, heaving sobs that echoed through empty corridors. She cried for the colony that would never be planted, for the children in cryo-sleep who never woke, for every dream that died when the asteroid fragment tore through the hull. Rivy found her curled on the floor. The creature approached slowly, body low, making soft clicking sounds. In its mouth, mandibles, jaws. Lena had never looked that closely. It carried something. A small metal disc, scratched and dented, attached to a piece of frayed cord. Lena recognized it. A child's toy. A spinning top, something that must have tumbled from the family quarters during the breach. Rivy placed it carefully in front of her, then backed away, eyes unblinking. Is this yours?" Lena's voice cracked. "Your favorite thing?" Rivy chittered. The sound felt like yes. Lena picked up the toy with trembling fingers. Something about the gesture. This small alien creature offering its treasure to ease her pain, shattered and healed her in the same moment. She cried again, but differently. She pulled Rivy close, and the creature didn't flee. It nestled against her chest, purring in frequencies that resonated through her bones. The next dawn, ship dawn, the arbitrary 0600 hours that Lena maintained out of habit, Rivy returned with Pip and Moth. Each carried something. A bolt, a data chip. A piece of reflective insulation folded into a crude flower shape. They placed these offerings at her feet and waited. "Oh," Lena breathed. "Oh, you beautiful things." It became ritual. Every dawn, 3 small aliens brought their treasures. A button, a length of fiber optic cable that caught the light. A child's crayon, still wrapped. They never kept the items. They brought them, watched her accept them, and chittered with what Lena swore was pleasure when she smiled. She learned their language of gifts. She started bringing things too. Dried food pressed into shapes. Spare components arranged into sculptures. Once she spent 6 hours weaving synthetic fiber into a small nest, which they dragged away with obvious delight. On day 98, the rescue ship arrived. The Ganymede Station patrol vessel, Conscience, had picked up her beacon. They breached the hull with cutting torches and found Lena in the pod bay, alive and impossibly sane, surrounded by small alien creatures that hissed at the intruders. "Stand back, ma'am," the lead rescuer said, raising a weapon. "We'll handle the infestation." "No!" Lena threw herself between the soldiers and her family. "They're not pests. They're mine. They saved me." The ship's xenobiologist was called. Dr. Kane examined the creatures with growing amazement. "These are Vrel cubs," she explained. "Their adults are massive, 8 feet tall, apex predators. These must have been in the cargo hold, part of the ecological survey equipment. But cubs at this stage, they're supposed to be aggressive, territorial. I've never seen them approach humans." "They brought me toys," Lena said quietly. "Every morning. They understood I was alone." Dr. Kane stared at the small pile of offerings, hundreds of them now, organized into careful patterns. Vrel gift-giving behavior is exclusively reserved for pack members, for family. She turned to Lena, eyes wide. "You didn't just survive with them. They adopted you." The rescue team wanted to leave the cubs behind. Too dangerous, they said, unknown variables. But Lena refused to board without them, and something in her eyes made hardened soldiers back down. On the transport to Ganymede Station, while Lena slept in a medical bay, Rivi approached her bunk. The creature carried a small object in its mandibles, a name tag from a uniform charred at the edges, belonging to someone who didn't survive. Rivi placed it gently on Lena's chest and clicked softly in the darkness. The next dawn, when artificial lights cycled on in the ship, 3 cubs brought 3 new treasures: a stylus from the medical officer, a spare button from the pilot's jacket, a protein bar wrapper smoothed flat. The crew watched in silence as Lena Vale wept again, not from sorrow this time, but from understanding. Humans grieve through connection. They heal through ritual. They find family in impossible places. And sometimes, even in the cold darkness between stars, that's enough.